Okay, so this person wants to find out his soul origins or ancestry in regards to the star family, and was wondering if there are any methods I use. And so, in regards of the information pertaining to the quick scan, he's a 37 Taurus, lives in Halifax, NS. The only child. He doesn't feel that he's human. He's very talented in arts, music, painting, creating all sorts of things. But he seems to suffer from an overactive libido, and was wondering if that is an attachment or is it related to the programming. Not sure what else is needed. I guess I'm looking for someone with your abilities to be able to see what I am, soul origin wise, and to maybe assess my feel and see what kind of attributes may be keeping me down, locked up. I know I am a creator being outside all of the noise, but on a soul level, it would be nice to know what I was before coming here, or if I was just human. Either way, it's not determined, but for me, it's a question I've had all my life, and hopefully able to find some sort of answer. You've helped a friend of mine discover that he was a Lyran, and I helped a lot for him, and it helped a lot for him to assess his life and what things mean to him. So I guess I was hoping to figure out externally if possible. Right, so, first things, Christopher. Right now, I'm just connecting to your beingness and who you are. Sort of my consciousness drifts to you. When I'm looking at people, sometimes I see them just as, let's say, energy figures. So let's say think of an outline of a human body, and then I'm connecting to your essence, to your presence of, your consciousness, and then I can access your Akashic records, see what you have experienced in the past, and just see all about you. So, alright, what about you? So first thing that pops out is that you've been somewhat involved in a soul trap. It's like where, like one part of you, or before coming here on Earth, somewhat close to forced incarnation, but like not specifically. Okay, just so dropped here. Baddies, specifically reptilians, came onto the planet, harvested everything they can, and now it's a desert or like it's post-apocalyptic kind of world, and they left because there's nothing in there anymore. And this planet is just like hurt. But the planet is actually a live being that has been harvested as can be. So you look at that planet and you create this, like take this pillar and specifically, okay, this planet or any planet that's gone under these circumstances, and you write a program of, okay, boom, atmosphere changes, like there's a lot of like greenery coming back, a lot of like, let's say, waters and energy and everything else, and that switches. And you just like see like anything that you want in there, and that was your job. So you, the guy that's getting a scan, you basically were one of the engineers that created the whole program of like that, let's say, pocket or, I don't know, like private reality where you can like create the like choose the pillar and use your program of what kind of work you want to be done, and that was it. But for that you got a lot of backlash, but not specifically from Pleiadians. It's Galactic Federation of Light. That was like they've got what you're doing and they didn't like it at all. It's like, hey, this guy is changing too much. So it's kind of like going through their court system and laws and like making sure like, oh, this lag asshole is doing too much, so we have to make it illegal to use. It's not right. People should use their own imagination and people should use their own creativity, and you can get help from abroad, specifically like, let's say, if you're gonna help Earth. Oh, what you're doing over there as a Pleiadian is illegal, and you cannot help others because it breaks all the cosmic universal laws of people being able to ascend by themselves, so you need to do it yourself, and you cannot help anyone else. So, like, there's a lot of, like, Galactic Federation of Light bullshit where they're gonna make sure people on the planet don't get the help they need, and that was what got you somewhat what, how to say it, it's like being the creator of Nobel Prize, like, hey, dynamite! And then it's a weapon of mass destruction. Shit. So it's kind of like getting the same kind of view on this is such a great thing, like as a Pleiadian see it, as those that do the healing work, as those that do the, like helping to others, but from the Galactic Federation of Light, and then spreading the news of you're the terrorist, you're the bad guy, you're just trying to find a workaround for others, and no, you shouldn't do that ever. So, they spread this kind of like, how to say it, propaganda and making sure that beings in the multiverse see you as a baddie. Like, you fucked it up. You just tried to cheat. And you shouldn't do that. You know, if a person is supposed to finish the school, you don't just write them the fake diploma of they finished the school. You can't do that. And so this is pretty much like a metaphor, I'm bad at that, but pretty much like of how they fucked you over. And by that, they had their own troops coming over. It's kind of like even being the Pleiadian and having the handcuffs on you and being like leaded to like, okay, let's go to our own room. We're gonna get you into the, you know, like galactic prison and make sure you get the punishment you should, like, you know, like you've gone through. So yeah, there's like a lot of that going on in the background. Specifically, looking at the soul trap and what happened to you. A lot of past life rewriting. Like they want to make sure that the image you get of yourself is like limiting. So, for example, you know, you were this greater being, you've done something grand, you're there to help others, and they're like, no, you shouldn't view yourself as a godlike being who's there to help. You shouldn't know that you're like a healer, an engineer, and everything else. Oh, you're actually like you're a bad person. And they're gonna put a lot of fake lives, and fake life, I don't know, like the best explanation I can give right now would be, think of watching a movie. Like one blink is a lifetime. And literally you live at least 100 years, and in that 100 years you're gonna live like as if it's really happening to you, as if it's like the thing, as if you're there. So the same way you put VR glasses and you're in another reality, but you can experience everything you see, touch, smell, and everything else is your reality, is your, like, it's true, it's there. And there's like a lot of torture with, oh well, you're a bad like person, there's like being a criminal, you know, like stealing things, like being a thief, and then getting a lot of backlash from like society again, like, oh, you're a bad person, you've done too much. It's the same way people are hating Bill Gates, so to speak. So the same way they're pushing that fake, it's like, you're the bad person, you've done something really bad and you shouldn't even dare to express yourself. So there's like a lot of like programming coming in the past lives that create this limit of, let's say you hit this part of where you want to express yourself, where you want to do something grand, and there's going to be distractions in life as a rule, like something's always going to happen to make you go sideways, or something is always coming in the way where you can't do it, the creator's block, for example, other things, there's that. Also going with, like, again, creating this image of a bad person, so, you know, being a rapist, being a pedophile is a lot there. And again, your physical body might pick it up, as in like relating, this is who I was in the past, and this is how I'm gonna act in current, and this might like affect your physical body in that way. One of the things I would like to share is that lately I've been working with a person, amazing person, but like basically, I was scanning his case. He has messed up stomach, he has like very hard time digesting food and has to eat only specific amount of calories, because if he does too much or too little, his body will be fucked up. And so with all that happening, you have to like watch yourself. So what do? So I'm scanning the guy and I'm like, okay, where's this cause? Like, you know, we see like the problem, there's this dark spot, removing it, but I don't feel like, you know, I'm removing it. I removed the dark spot, but it keeps coming back. Like, you know, what's up with that? So I create a shielding again, and it breaks right away. And I'm like, okay, something's not good with it. So I'm trying to find out, like, how did it happen? When did the break started happening? Who caused it? And going just like finding all those bits. So I'm like, basically, when you go out of body, you leave a trace. When you go out for a walk, as you walk, you might step in the mud, you leave a trace. So by that, when you go to body, you have your energy, you can find people. And as I'm scanning this person, I'm scanning like, okay, here's this energy. I have to like find any beings that are connected to him that are causing this damage. And I find one, and I find this mantis, and, you know, icky creatures. And so this guy, basically, in past, he was a very strong warrior. He had like several past lives and different things. And his mission is to stop colonizing of planets, where these mantis are like taking over the planets, and they're like, okay, let's slay everyone, make it our place. So this person is stopping the mantis colonization and making sure that the other like civilizations and races can live on. And with that, he becomes a target. Like, hey, you're stepping into our plans, you're messing up with us, you're gonna have to be eliminated. These mantis, like people, they group up and they attack this person. But it's not just like, oh yeah, let's fight it out. No, the way they do it is they literally grab the person and trap him between time and space. You cannot find him in every realm. You cannot find him in, like, you know, where is it? Like, it's literally away from everything. between time and space. If you're interested in quantum physics, you can like really find it all out. But anyway, so basically, person is trapped, and I'm able to track him down. Like, I feel this energy, and what I find is that person is trapped in this sort of box. He is in stasis, like one of his past bodies. Like, in present, he has a human life form, he has stomach pain, he has different kind of issues, and I'm tracking one of his other bodies in the multiverse that is living up to the present, where he is trapped in this sort of energy box. He is in stasis, and these mantis, like, plant, like, I don't know, like exploding bomb that keeps coming from the stomach. So it's like there is a thing inside the stomach that keeps blowing up, and no matter how much healing would we do on the present in the body, like, I'm doing the energy healing, I'm removing those dark spots, I get the energy shielding back, and what happens? It all comes back, and I'm like, what's causing it? So in between the space and time, I find a place where they have this person trapped. They're messing with him, they're like literally tearing him apart, and that sort of place where, like, between his spine and stomach, there's this energy that keeps exploding and like spreading little parts. They're literally fracturing his soul, fracturing him in parts to make sure that he is weakened, to make sure that he has mind wiped, to make sure that he is limited, trapped, and he cannot do anything, and he will never stop them from colonizing other planets. And that's the deal. So what I do is, like, I break the stasis place, I break the sort of thing in the stomach, like I destroy it, I take it out, destroy the shielding, and put him into one of my favorite rehab planets where I go myself sometimes, and just like, making sure that he has safe place to heal up, to think about everything, to like restore memories and stuff. But the thing is, the whole soul fracturing, they can really mess with people. Take away their energies, take away their abilities and stuff. But what happens to your other bodies out in the multiverse? What happens to you out there can still affect the present. So while this person in one of his bodies has the situation where they're like destroying him and like fracturing him, at the same time his physical body is feeling intense pain in stomach. He's like really being affected in that way. And by doing this, like sort of we stop it. So the person starts feeling better, like, that sort of seems like it's sort of gone away. But the person still didn't get the abilities back or stuff, like, he's like amazing person and can do a lot. Stuff happens, and all of a sudden he's like really damaged, weak person. And now we're working on like, getting those soul fragments back. So today I got lucky talking to people who just share intimate details about their lives and just allow me to practice my skills into looking, hey, like, what did you experience before coming here on Earth? Or what's going on with your life, somewhat of a remote viewing, psychic readings and all. And today I found a thing called, a group of beings called Teluvians. And I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it right or not. I just like exploring and saw this thing. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's how it's said and all. But for me, it was very interesting because this group probably has a lot to do with some people here on Earth not being able to find someone to love, or actually having their love life somewhat suppressed. And what I mean is, this group is basically a wolf in a sheep's clothing. They appear like a light bubble. And, like you do energy work and you remove anything that's dark and you put in the good stuff, the light stuff. And that's supposed to be like nice and all. But this group, they're away from Earth and everything else. And they appear like a nice little bubble, right? Like, or at least the first impression when you see them. And they give you this warm, fuzzy feeling. And of course, they're not giving you any religious stuff, but they're sort of like scanning for people specifically who are looking for love, who are looking for that intimacy, the trust, the relationships where they can connect and be loved and all. And so, like, not everyone will be the target of that being, for sure. But for those that like crave for that, this being will appear, and that sort of like light orb or energy ball can shapeshift. So it appears like, like, hey, first consciousness point of view, we don't really have a body, but when we assume the identity, when we're exploring and going into some games we're going to play in certain realms and dimensions, of course we can get the body if we want to. And so these beings, the Teluvians, they appear, let's say, warm, fuzzy, and loving, and you connect with them and like, like, wow, like it feels so good being with them. You finally like have this trust, and what happens is like they turn off your red flag radars. It's no longer, your lie detector doesn't work anymore. So when you connect to them, it's kind of like your guard drops somewhat. And then they can shapeshift, like, like, hey, would you like to live together? Or these beings, they're baiting you. They remind me of that fish in a deep sea, deep waters, where they have this like light bulb, and you know, they're gonna try to attract the prey with the light, when then snap and kills them and all. So, you know, like you can like, okay, get an offer, or let's say they're all interested in you and they're interested in satisfying your needs. Like, oh, well, you're interested in finally having a love of your life and having that thing. And these beings are like really, I don't know, like really deceptive. They can spend years and years, not just months, but a very long lifetime trying to give you the best. And that's how they work, you know, like for example, like, you know, like you're like, okay, well, here's a nice planet, you know, like your paradise. If you think of the Hawaiian beach, or like California, or like Florida, or something else, your own like perfect scenery of what the world should be like, or at least that part. And it's like, let's say, warm and like nice, and like the weather is perfect, and you have the trees you want, and the nature is your way, and the people look the way you like. It's all like giving you and satisfying you with that. And this being, you know, is going to shapeshift into anything that you sort of like or go for. So let's say if you like a human life, they can shapeshift into a human, and like, boom, they have the looks you always dreamed of. You don't like that, they can shapeshift and sort of like satisfy you with like, oh, wow, this is your dream husband, dream wife, or dream lover, or anything you wanted, you know, like, and they can give you all of those pleasures. And then, you know, the life goes on. You actually feel loved. You actually feel deeply connected, and you have that trust in everything else. And I don't want to tell this this dark story of, oh, like, don't trust anyone at all anymore your whole existence. No, it's like some beings are just doing that, and I really hope like you're not going to find yourself in this case. But you know, like, so living a long time with these beings, the Teluvians, and you know, anything can happen. You can have your picnics and dates, and you know, the world, you're going to choose to be with them and do anything you want, and the sex life is awesome and everything else, like all your needs are satisfied. And eventually they're looking for certain phrases that are similar to allowing the devil or the vampire inside the house. They're looking for your permission in a way, where you're like, oh, you're my best friend forever. Or, you know, like, you get into this place where you're filled with love and you want to get really intimate, and I'm yours. Do anything you want to me. Go get me. And that kind of thing, where I'm all yours, do anything you want, or you owe me, or tonight I'm all yours kind of thing, is those catchphrases. And it's somewhat cliche, but you're looking for those specific things that they can hook you on. And the moment we sort of say it, it's like we drop our guard off. And they use that alone as if it's a permission for life. And they get us, they bait us, boom, we're hooked. Some people, by this group, the Teluvians, they get forcefully incarnated, forcefully pushed on Earth. Some get into soul traps. And eventually, when we come here, what happens is that for them, they're playing a very long-term game. It's not like they live 100 years and they die. No, they can live for thousands and thousands of years freely. And you know, shape-shifting and having all those like things, it's their game. Like, they're like, they can sit there and like clear and just wait for their thing. But they're pretty much like traders. They're masters of their arts of deception, and they're training in illusion energy. So again, humanity and a lot of beings that can give off this energy that's negative, and like, it's just their currency. We're here on Earth using money. Some people are using black market and giving organs and trading children and everything else, and it gets really dark. These beings are pretty much just like taking the luge and owning people in a way where the moment you give off like, I'm yours, or you can do anything you want to me, or you know, like, I want to be with you forever, and things like that, those phrases, it's like all of a sudden they got a little chain on you and now they own you. So it's like, who wants this being? I own them, they're mine. And they can sell you off, so to speak. But it's not like your consciousness is no longer yours and you belong to someone, your body, in a way. And the thing is, with consciousness, like, I just have to mention this part, it's all about how we see ourselves. Because, you know, some people are going to sell their soul, and all we're selling is our free will to do something. And it's like some control of our life. But at any point in time, we're like, oh, I'm done. I don't believe that part anymore. I'm sort of back in that shape now. So again, if we think that, oh, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I can't draw, I don't know how to play piano, or like anything else, if it's a belief you have about yourself where, oh, damn, I got trapped, or, yeah, I'm yours. I belong to them. Like, you literally love that being. You have such a deep connection, and they own you. And you don't realize what they're doing. Like, your radar's off. So the moment when you drop your guard off and you say certain things, and if you believe that, like, hey, I'm yours, you might forget that you have said it, but you did say it, and now they sort of like take it for granted. And that alone is like this agreement you make, this thing that like leaves your ownership to someone else.
So one of the most telling out-of-body experiences I had that have to do with this prison planet thing is I found myself in a realm. It's like a belief system territory, like a flat Earth plane with a dome over it, kind of like that. We're not talking about flat Earth right now. This is not about experience I had though. And it's like there's a ground, and it's just a city with some forest and woods outside the city limits. And in the city, it's like a rundown, old, trashed, old city, poor side of town sort of city. Smoke and electrical, steampunk sort of feel to it. And there's people down there. And they're not happy people. They're walking around like zombies, really. Just work, living a very shallow existence, like slaves to a system. But when I got out of body, I was in this, it's like here's a flat ground level, and up here's the clouds, and above the clouds there's like a ceiling, and then above that it's like you're in an attic, and it's like it's domed like this. So you're in this attic, like domed attic sort of thing. So that's why I popped in awake. I go, where am I? What is this place? And it looked like refugee camp up there. Just human people, but little families and individuals, and they had the little, their little, towels and blankets strung across strings and ropes to like block off their little private areas. And it was just like right after a bad wreck, and a bunch of refugees are trying to set up refugee camp. I go, what is this place? So I'm looking at that, and I look around and I see a robot AI thing, about 3.5 feet tall. It's all machine metal, and it's looking at me. And I just knew, this is the monitoring service. We're gonna keep an eye on you, bitch. And I looked at that thing, and it looks at me, and I said, don't even think about it. And the thing goes, and it went away. And I go, what's going on here? And then I look around, and I can see through the dome. The other refugees, I don't think, could see through it, but I had, my out-of-body superpowers with me. And so I could see through the dome wall, and outside was a big spacecraft. And there was a bay door opening, and they were floating out of the big spacecraft. These big tankers, like these shipping containers. They're on ships. They stack them up and they look like the back of a trailer, a truck trailer, and they put wheels under it and they haul it around. Well, these kind of like that, but bigger, and actually kind of think of a giant coffin. It looked more like a coffin, long thing, and these people in space, beings in space suits, like pressure suits, were floating around that thing, and then moving this thing out. I'm sorry. Moving this thing out, and we're going like that, and all this shit. Sorry. But anyway, they were bringing this big giant container over to the dome, over to the dome here, and when they get the thing over to the dome, airlock thing or whatever, anyway, they open this container up and they shoo all these people out, and they're like dead people in their astral bodies, like all these astral dead people. They don't know they're dead. Or maybe they do, and they're going, what the fuck? I thought when I die, something else is going to happen, not this. They literally got caught by some fucking ET fucking astral enslavers. Motherfucker. This is a personal experience. This happened to me personally. I didn't read this in the book.
Like you saw it, and not like you experienced the capturing, but more like you saw how.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I didn't get captured by the motherfuckers, but I saw it. I saw it. I was with my own eyes. Well, not these. But anyway, did we tell you this is the entertainment channel, not educational? Oh, okay, good. So anyway, all these people are pouring out of this thing, and they're like little families, and it looks like a fucking train wreck. Literally, it's like, what, did you guys just come out of a fucking train wreck? And now they're piling in, they're filling up the refugee place too. I go, what the hell? But I could see the part where about the spaceship and being transported. I go, that's not right. This is not afterlife, right? This is not right. So I go, what's everybody doing up here? The fuck? And I can kind of look through, and there's clouds, and there's ground. The ground's way down there, like Zeus up here on Mount Olympus. But it was a fucking prison or a little thing. Anyway, I just teleported because you can do that. Do you fly much when you go out of body?
Depends. I teleport more often than I fly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you walk around on the ground and bitch slap those reptilians and stuff?
Well, more like I just mog them, but it depends.
Bitch.
I added being honest with you.
Okay, all right. So anyway, I teleported down to the ground level, and that's when I saw what the place looked like, and I described that already at the beginning of this story. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I wanted to talk to somebody. So there's I'm going to walk out of the gloomy-looking town. Some guy was on the corner selling meat, dried meat, and a little. It looked like this little wagon with wheels on it, and a little canopy and a little hot thing. There's a little smokestack on this thing. It's black smoke coming out of there, and selling these meat on the stream. I hope those aren't people. Anyway, I didn't want any of that. I said, I got to get out of town here. So I started walking out of town. It's very urban looking, roads with old railroad tracks going down on them, and the telephone poles and telephone wires hanging way down lower than they should, right? And it's like, this is a creepy place. So I'm walking out of town, but I want to talk to somebody. Besides the guy selling the burnt flesh of some guy, I hope it wasn't people. Anyway, I see, there's a lady. She's walking this way, and I'm walking this way. And I said, well, if I just walk a little faster, I'll meet up. And hey, lady. So I get up close and go, hey, lady. Hey. And she's like, kind of not, she looks like she was ignoring me. I go, lady. She's ignoring me. Oh, it pissed me off. What the fuck are you ignoring me for? And it was kind of half ignore and half in zombie mode. And so finally and it wasn't audio loud, it's telepathic, but man, I just intense, hey! And she's like, huh? And then she wakes up out of her zombie trance, looks right at me, looks me right in the eyes, and then gets fucking terrified. And just went, and took off running. I'm going, what the fuck's wrong with these people? So I said, I'm getting out of this fucking place. So I walked down the road. This is like a flat earth domed sort of looking deal, but in miniature. So I'm walking out of town, and there's woods over here, and I'm on the road, and there's I can see mountains in the distance, and some of you guys have heard this story before. I've only told it about 10 times. Anyway,
That's your favorite story.
It's my favorite fucking story, man. So, clouds, beautiful mountains out in the distance, I go, yeah, that's where I want to go. So I'm walking that way. And as I walk closer, the mountains sort of get kind of wavy looking, like on a hot day, and you're on the road, and the distant mountains, you get those heat waves going up, and it kind of distorts the view. I go, what the fuck is that? It's not hot. And I just keep walking. Well, as I get closer and closer, I realize I'm walking toward this is a holographic projection at the edge of the dome. Yeah. And there's no real mountains out there. That's just a visual effect. And as I got closer, I said, well, fuck this, I'm going to keep walking. As I got closer, I could start seeing the matrix-looking energy grid around this place. Now, they talk about energy grids on Earth, and they talk about this being a prison planet, and they talk about people getting captured and brought here. So, on physical Earth, this place here, and I was having an ubi that represented all of that stuff way before I heard any of the stories about Earth being this prison planet. I mean, I heard it was a prison planet, but none of the details. And yet here I am having this first-hand experience. And so here I am walking into this matrix-looking thing, and it was like years before, it was like 1989 or something, years before the Matrix movie came out. So as I walk closer and closer to it, I start feeling afraid. Me? Afraid? That's not right. I don't do that. So I just keep walking. I'm starting getting all fucking nervous and scared. And then I got this urge to turn around and run back to the crowd. Real strong urge. I just want to turn away and run back to the group. And I go, that's what that lady did. She got all scared. She turned around, she ran back down into town where all the people were. Sheeple. Go back with a sheep. Safe. So I had that real strong urge. I go, this is a fucked up, this is programmed. This is an energy wave. This is not happening. I said, fuck you, and I just kept walking. And it walked a little bit further, and you just walk right through it, and out, away. If it was physical, planet Earth, I'm imagining, quite likely, very similar. People, they drop dead, they're having an out-of-body experience, they get up near that energy grid thing, and they're going to start feeling afraid. And they're going to want to turn back or something, and go to the light or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my most interesting out-of-body experience, and it really relates to prison planet Earth and all that. And I eventually was forced back into my body. I don't know what's doing that. It's like real powerful programming. Because most of the out-of-body experiences I have, it's not like, okay, I'm ready to go back now. No, it's always something pulls me back, shifts me back.
Mm.